Welcome back. Welcome back. Got another video here today doing our end of season awards, our award picks. We did a mid-season awards and that video did really, really well. So we're going to bring it back here, but just a quick word from our sponsor and then we'll get right into it.
Shout out Swish Room. We really appreciate the partnership. Use code TOT at checkout. Code TOT at checkout for 10% off. Basically, you're going to get this little piece right here. You're going to get the pole, connect them together, bring this John up on top of the hoop. It extends right here. Place it. It's going to make the diameter of the rim a little bit smaller and dial in your jumper. God knows Matt and 12 need it. I don't. But, yeah, use code TOT at checkout now. 10% off. Swish Room. Shout out Swish Room. If you want to get dialed like Steph.
Yeah, link will be in the description for all of that. But let's get right into the video. First, we're going to give our MVP pick, and then we will get into the rest of the awards. But this is going to be the main focus of the video because I think it's a really close race, even though sports books are not saying so. But there's the final three have basically been narrowed down across all sports books, but it is Nikola Jokic at minus 5,000, Luka at plus 2,100, and Shea at plus 4,600. Our midseason MVP was Shea, but now I think we're all team Luka here, or is that safe to say?
100%. Uh-oh, we're about to go at it then.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
But no, I think that every poll I've seen a lot of people putting up polls on Twitter, on YouTube, all that stuff saying who's your MVP right now, and every single one of them had everyone on Luka Doncic, which just really shows that the voters don't really know anything. If this many people are all saying Luka, I think it's got to be Luka. And if you're a betting man, plus 2,100 on, it seems wild that it's that high, but I'm looking at FanDuel odds, by the way. So just give your take for Luka, but go ahead.
You want to go top?
Luka's tough. He's playing phenomenal ball. Shea has been my mid-season MVP choice just due to the seeding of Oklahoma City and him leading his team and his efficiency and consistency and his availability. That's why Shea has been my go-to. But seeing what Luka has done to put them at 5 seed-ish, I think that he's been playing phenomenal ball, him and both Kyrie, but also Joker, these three guys are the ones that do it. Also, I throw Brunson in there, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? But.
So let's get down to brass tacks. The kid's averaging 34, 9, and 9, and is leading that team to the top.
Basically 9 and 10.
Yeah, 9.8 assists. So, I mean, it's crazy how good players in the NBA have gotten where we're even debating this because that stat line in 2017 is a unanimous MVP winner. He's also been leading very well and hitting big shots, and he's had a lot of signature moments. We all know, if you listen to this podcast a lot, Matt's a big signature moments guy with the voting, and I think he's had some signature moments that are big time, and he also, yeah.
73-point game. The game. I mean, I know Kyrie hit the buzzer, but he was still unbelievable in that game versus the Nuggets.
And your most recent duel with the other MVP candidate, you guys took the W. So I feel like that was a big matchup for the tides to change. Shea's folded too many times. Like he had that bad game on primetime. That was supposed to be the MVP game. Like his time will come. I don't think it's this year. I think as much as Luka, I think will win 5 MVPs throughout his career. I think this is the first one. And as much as it's one of these situations where you could make a case for a Jokic every year. Like you can make a case for a Giannis every year. Like,
Yeah, it's voter fatigue, which is why I think so many people are on Luka, and I think reasonably so. It's just people are trying. There's a whole thing now where, because obviously when LeBron was really in his prime, or MJ, these guys would have won MVPs every single year. They were that good and that dominant. If you just look back at the D Rose versus LeBron's case for MVP in 2011, it's it's not comparable. LeBron should have by far and away won that award. It's just the voter fatigue of it. He won 2 before that. They're not going to give him that one and then 2 more in a row. They're not going to give him 5 straight MVPs, which he deserved. However, the thing is with Luka is everyone's saying that their record's not good enough and the standings play a factor into it. Jokic won his first MVP with 48 wins. The Mavericks are already at 50. So like take that into account. Luka is first in points, top 10 in fourth quarter scoring, second in assists. Like it's just everything that you want from an MVP is what Luka is putting out there. And don't get me wrong, Jokic is having an unbelievable season, putting up he's averaging 27, 12, and 10, like, or nearly 10. But like those numbers are unbelievable. It's just, I think that the case for Jokic isn't as strong as Luka's just because of Jokic winning 2 MVPs. And I call it voter fatigue, call it what you want. I just think that Luka has been so unbelievable, especially over the latter half of the season, which this past March was his worst statistical month of the season. So just to put that in perspective, he averaged 32, 9, and 9 in March, and it was his worst month of the season. Like
that's a no-brainer.
Like that's
for me,
what we're
bro.
doing.
It's got to be a
that's
no-brainer.
what we're doing here. And it's also, he stepped up on the defensive end, which we never expected from Luka. He's playing at a faster pace. The Mavericks are top of the league in pace. And that was like, if you told me Luka Doncic's team was going to be top 10 in pace, I would have told you you're insane. He's adapted to Kyrie's style and he's molded himself into being a better basketball player while still coming off of last season where I'm like, how can this get any better? And I think that's the most important thing. While Jokic, I feel like, has been putting up similar numbers for the last few years, and albeit they are the 1 seed, pretty much confirmed, but still, I think we're going to give our award to Luka here.
It's one of those years that if he doesn't win it, you look back and you're like, wow, dude got robbed.
I wouldn't say he got robbed though, because Jokic is also having an unbelievable year. I think Luka should win it.
So many guys that are having an unbelievable year. That can't be the standard anymore.
True.
That's a fact.
True. I know. I agree. It's just that Jokic dude, his numbers are fucking insane.
They're good.
And like versus, and just 2 nights ago at the time of recording this, he went and battled it out with the best defense in the league against Rudy Gobert and dropped a 40-point triple-double by a landslide. Like just stuff like that. That's a big moment for Jokic. But we'll move on to Defensive Player of the Year. This is really a 2-man race, and it's not really a 2-man race, sadly. But Rudy Gobert at minus 2,400 and Victor Wembanyama at plus 1,000. I am personally going to give it to Wemby, even though I know Rudy Gobert has been tremendous this season.
Bias.
That is bias. On not giving it to Rudy?
Yeah.
That's fair. I do not like Rudy Gobert. I'll be the first to tell you. I think if Wemby wasn't in the league, he should win DPOY. They're the best defense, and he's the best player on the best defensive team. So that's where my head would go normally for Defensive Player of the Year. If you're a top 3 to 5 defense and you're the best defensive player, you should win the award. And as long as your numbers look good and everything. But Wemby I saw this stat the other day. He has more stocks combined in the last 3 DPOYs together. Think about that. He has more steals and blocks combined this season, stocks, steals and blocks together, than the last 3 Defensive Player of the Years combined. It's ridiculous. It's unheard of. It could legitimately be the best defensive statistical season I've ever seen. Like I know it's crazy. I'm disrespecting a lot of guys by doing this, but it is unbelievable how good he's been defensively.
Fact.
You're muted.
Wemby, I got Wemby personally, and that's just because I've like Maddie said, what trips me out is having 5 on a minimum blocks per game. It seems like just whenever I get to see him play,
averaging over 3.5 blocks. Like the guy is unbelievable,
and I think that is phenomenal and something that Rudy can do, but I think that Vic is doing it at a higher clip, and this is just his rookie season. So I think that he's definitely deserving of Defensive Player of the Year because of my Rookie of the Year pick. But Finn,
for me, and they both alter shots, and they both alter the way that teams game plan against them, attacking the middle and whatnot. But Wemby is just a different breed. There's so many non-counting non-statistical defensive plays that he makes, whether it be rotating or stopping a transition, like stopping a fast break because people are scared to drive at him or stuff like that. And I know Rudy has a similar aura and effect, with that, but like you got to give the kid credit where credit's due. I understand. I also personally think there's a huge conspiracy going on with the league and Rudy Gobert. I understand how the stats work. I don't hate him as much as Matt, but I'm not a fan of his game. I understand where they're coming from, but like at a certain point, first of all, let's bring back guard defensive player of the year. Someone's got to step up and win that for the kids. But second of all,
there's just not enough people were like the steals leaders are Shea and Donovan Mitchell, who are not viewed.
Right.
And defense player of the year is a lot. It's a lot perception based. So
someone has to step up. But my point being that Wemby is a 1-on-5 defender by himself. He guards the entire team in the same play. He also switches out onto guards and does a great job with them. His length, his quick feet. Like, he's a much more versatile defender than Rudy. And I think he's been the best defensive player in the NBA this year. Is that not what the award is?
I agree.
So
the only thing is that, yeah, I agree. The only thing is that their team defense isn't great, even with him on the floor. It's horrid without him on the floor, but their team defense is still below average.
But you can't fault the guy for his roster. I know what you're saying with the top 5 being in the top 5 defense. That's the norm, but like you can't fault the guy with his roster.
No, that's a fact.
He's very clearly, in my personal opinion, the best defender in the NBA right now.
Yeah, that's fair. The last few we'll run through a little bit quicker here, but we got clutch player of the year, also really a 2-man race. I guess you could say 3, but it is Steph Curry at -150, DeMar DeRozan at +110, and then Shea at +2,900. So it's really between Steph and DeMar DeRozan. I would lean Steph. To be honest, haven't watched a ton of Warriors or Bulls games over the course of the season. I would be in probably 10 or so for the Warriors and definitely in single digits for the Bulls. But I've seen a lot of clips of both guys down the stretch just really performing, and their fourth quarter numbers are off the charts. I'll pull some up, but still just really, really good. I'm going to give it to Steph just because he's the current favorite right now. And I just think that it's going to be a weird year if no one in the final 3 wins an award between like Steph, KD, Bron. It's just going to be a weird thing for NBA voters to try and decipher between.
That's a fact.
I don't know what happened to Shea.
He was out for a little bit, and the Thunder, I don't want to say fell off because they're technically 1 game out of the 1 seed, but he hasn't been dropping like 40 balls. I know he really just percentage wise is
being
always
a clutch player of the 30, year 35. Basically fourth quarter, last 5 minutes, who's been I know. I'm saying he's the best closer in the NBA right now, and it's not close. So wouldn't he like?
You could, yeah. I think he's definitely in contention. I just don't personally. Oh, if you want my personal pick, I would give it to Shea.
That's what I'm asking. Like, I'm not picking who's going to actually win. I think I'm picking who deserves to win.
You know, my personal pick.
Oh God.
Take a guess. You're not even going.
You say DeJounte Murray. Don't do that.
That's my brother there.
He's technically still on the list to win it. He's at +15,000. So,
come on now.
But
they're hoeing him.
I mean,
that's how they do A-Town, but we're not going for it. You hear me? We don't go for none of that. It's TOT. We top 3. Like, all, comment, subscribe. Show your mom, show your auntie. We do it, but we appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? A-Town.
But I think we're Team Shea here overall.
I think we have to be. We're a Shea pod.
Over the shelf, though? Over the shelf?
Yes, bro.
Over the shelf?
Steph has had the moments, though. Like, when I know they lost, but when they were playing the Hawks that game and he just couldn't miss from 3 down the stretch, that was wild. That was
your
really
boy went out.
Clutch player of the year if you lost your signature game.
Fair enough. But we'll move on. We'll move on to 6-man of the year. This is a 2-man race, but there's some guys on the outside that I guess you could bet on, but I personally wouldn't. It is Malik Monk at -280, Naz Reid at +230, Bogdan Bogdanovic at +3,100, and Norman Powell at +4,000. I'm giving this to Naz Reid.
These odds are crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but like, think about who's voting for this. Stephen A. was on his podcast was talking about how Quentin Grimes has been doing really good for the Knicks. He hasn't been on the Knicks since February. So, this is who's voting for MVP and stuff. But
it's got to go Nas. Slim, you got to give it up. You got to give it up to Big Jelly, bro. Don't try and do that, Malik Monk.
Facts. No, Nas is the clear-cut winner here. like I know Malik Monk's had a really good season, and Kings fans will probably get after us for this one, but I just think that for a guy that you asked to develop, and we just did a Timberwolves season's grade, so if you want to just hear more about Naz Reid in general, go check that out. But his numbers are exactly what the T-Wolves asked him to improve in the offseason. He's close to 40%, if not over 40% from three, averaging 15 plus. Like the guy just on good efficiency and filling in for Karl-Anthony Towns right now, like being able to plug in a guy and not lose really much in production as a whole, if not maybe even gain a little bit, is just a guy that you want 6 man. Your guy coming off the bench that can do a little bit of everything for you, and Naz Reid does that.
Can I say some shit real quick?
Yeah.
With these awards, like I feel like they're getting overcomplicated a little bit in recent years. Like, who is the best 6 man in the NBA right now? It's Naz Reid. So give him the award. Who's the best defender in the NBA? Give him the award. Who's the clutchest player in the NBA? Give him the award. Like, why are we doing too much of these? Like, it's just frustrating me a little bit.
Dumbass.
There's a lot of stuff that plays into it, but
yeah, but like it doesn't have to. I don't know.
No, I agree. And then Coach of the Year, this is pretty much wrapped up too, but we got Mark Dagenhall, the OKC Thunder's coach, at minus 550, Chris Finch, the T-Wolves coach, at plus 600, Jamal Mosley at plus 1100. It's really a 3-man race, but it's going to go to the Thunder. I think Chris Finch has a case. If they ended up getting the 1 seed, I would have gave it to Chris Finch personally. I just think that because coming into the season, the T-Wolves and Thunder, I felt as though had similar expectations based on where they were last season. And I felt like whoever got the best of it should get the award. But I guess the Thunder did have slightly worse expectations coming into it because I know they were in the play-in, but they've done a hell of a job. And they've been the 3rd or 4th best team in basketball for the entire year. So I respect giving it to Marky Mark.
That's a fact. They've been balling out. Shout out to Shea. Shout out to the whole OKC squad. And I think the chemistry that those guys have together definitely says something about the coaching. And I think that that's well-deserved. And also Chris Finch being right there. You know, both of them cats are at 55 games, you know, that won. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you know, it's right there on that level. But due to, I would say, I mean, both of them were kind of in the play-in last year, right? They played each other in the play-in, did they not?
I believe so.
So
I believe so. I could be wrong.
If both of them were projected to, you know, have the same particular type of season, you know, growing from last season when they were kind of still in that same boat, both of them definitely deserve it. But I'm gonna give it to Mark Dagenhall as well. Them boys is hooping over there in Oklahoma.
He's built a whole culture over there. I mean, I know it's a lot to do with the players, but like he deserves it by a landslide. Again, who's the best coach in the NBA? Shout out Doc. Give it a Doc. Not.
Shout out Doc.
Not.
But that's it for TOT Awards. This is our picks for MVP, Depoy, all of the above. But leave a comment, your awards, because we want to know. We want to see what
most
people
improved,
are saying.
Most improved?
Oh, I skipped that one. Sorry. Most improved. It's pretty much just a lock to be Maxey, but there's what's it called? Kobe White is at plus 700. Maxey's almost minus 1,500. So it's going to go to Maxey. I think he's been really, really good this year. His numbers across the board have gone up. His numbers have gone up.
Jalen, I gotta say that. They holding Jalen. I gotta say that.
True. But I mean, all 3 guys have had really good seasons. I just think that Maxey had the biggest jump from where he was a season ago, and it's translating into winning. I know without Embiid it's not, but when you lose James Harden, you have to have a guy step up and improve. Maxey did all of that. But like, comment, subscribe, and peace.